All right, look at that. I'm live. Now I gotta go find the YouTube chat somewhere else. All right. Oh, hold on. I have my thing on. So I am not able to have the chat up. So I may be a little delayed in answering people, but I'm here by myself. Hello, Adam. Hello, Jacob. What's up, Roxanne? I think Colton just
Hold on
joined
one
us.
sec. And can you hear me?
I can hear you. I don't think you have the right mic on, but I could hear you.
Okay. 1 second.
By myself.
Default. Put on default. On. All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, a lot better. There we go.
Hold on. Output communication.
What's up, Jen?
Hold on a second. Something. My output is showing as the. Oh wait, hold on. All right, talk
Whoa.
again. There
There
we
you
go.
go. Is that
Okay.
Caitlin? Is Caitlin related to Jacob? Has to be. Sorry, I have a Jacob hag in the chat and I have a Caitlin hag in the chat. There can
It's
only
a
be
very common name. The Hags.
there can only be one hag. So what you guys are gonna have to fight it out, and one of you's got to go. Sorry, I'm only joking, guys. Awesome that you're both joining us today.
Join my video. I literally have been home for 15 minutes. So if I look disheveled and sweaty, I am. Roxanne can make a comment about my hair not looking like I had a haircut now.
Oh, Angela's from Puerto Rico. Look at this. That's cool. Well, guys in the chat, everyone throw out your ketamine versus M99 things because
We're already starting that.
I have a feeling that that's going to be something to discuss. And
Okay, read my mind.
if you have anything
Not a lot.
in the chat that you want people to bring up, because I know that's a big one for
I
me.
obviously want to bring up that we still don't officially know that Kurt is.
No, it's Kirk. Don't go back on it now. It's Kirk.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's Kurt. Yeah, we don't officially know anything yet about that. There we go.
Yo, Slip is in the chat, and we're just all getting set up right now. But Slip had a great tweet, and it's something like, if I wanted to do a long deep dive on, why even have Kurt be a serial killer? Why not just make him a grieving dad? Like, this show works.
It does.
That's the. I know it's a great point he brings up.
That's a really good one, actually. Live now. Let me pull this up so I can see some of the chat. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not in on it yet. Nice. There we go.
Oh, I gotta fix the zoom here. Here, let's see what this one does. Nope. There. And there. And then shift lets me do that. And then I shift again to do that. And then I shift again to that. And our stream is in full force.
Nice. I actually found my microphone.
Sweet.
And everything but I can't get my setup to hold it. And I tried recording one time by hand like this, and it was the worst recording I ever had. So I was like, I'm gonna stick with this if that's okay for this episode.
That's fine.
Um,
Just be mindful of tossing it tossing it around and
uh,
stuff.
no. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm not. I don't even have it plugged in because I
Oh,
couldn't get the
okay.
stand to hold it. And I did one recording one time where I tried to hold it by hand to record. And at certain points in the conversation, I'd be like, "Yeah, so then," and I would like set it down and completely forget. Oh well,
Yeah.
you lost Victor.
Oh, you can still hear me though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why my mic is doing that. Yep, there we go. Dylan, Robert, Cedar, Chucky. Oh yeah, happy holidays, everyone. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like we completely glossed over that.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas if you celebrated Christmas yesterday. I just got your text message. I'm gonna reply back.
Oh God. I got your text, Colton. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
All right. Do you guys ever go live on Twitter Spaces? You know, I seen that pop up recently. Um, I am not 100% sure. Like, this little setup we have here that looks probably so amateur and so whatever took a lot of time and a lot of time of Colton just sitting there, just being present. It did make one of the funniest jokes ever of Colton just asking what's bangers and mash. I still randomly laugh at that. Um, but to figure out Twitter Spaces, both of us, and have time, it's a good thought to bring up for the finale. Um, I've never joined a Twitter Space yet, so but it's a good thought. You know, we're 2 episodes in, so it's kind of like this is the best you're gonna get from us at this point. You know, all big dreams and aspirations I've had about the podcast. I've realized.
We can think about it for season 2. So
Yeah. um, I think I'm out on season 2, um, but yeah. This is kind of, you know, I think season 8 we were so, at least I was a little bit ambitious about what we were gonna do with this season, and I think I just underestimated how much work it is between, you know, having these, what is it, 22 hours to watch the episode twice, take notes, set up the podcast, watch my child, and sleep. So my time just goes down the drain as the day goes on. Anyway, that's just a lot of me complaining to say, yeah, these 2 episodes is what you're gonna get from us. The final 2, I guess, and this one here. But everyone likes to hear Victor complain, so
I'd like to get on the #1 feed on Reddit for a live feed. I think that'd be pretty badass.
a Reddit live feed. What do you mean?
I don't know, when I'm randomly scrolling through Reddit, it'll be like #1 like live feed right now, and it's usually a bunch of like dumb shits and stuff like that, doing stuff like somebody making breakfast and they're just sitting there like complaining, but then they'll have like, you know, 1,000 people watching him, and I'm like, really? How do you have 1,000 people sitting here watching in your dirty ass kitchen making eggs? Like, how does this happen? But I don't know how they do it. Like, I don't know if you just randomly go live and for whatever reason, people they just wait for groups to go live because that's just what they do. They like to watch what other people are doing. I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know
I
how it
don't know.
works.
All right, Colton, you're ready.
Yeah.
I'm going to record with Zencaster. I didn't even tell you, for whatever
Oh yeah.
reason. Um, for whatever reason, last episode, your audio would every 10 seconds would like cut out half a second. So, and I was trying to make our audio in sync. Like it would
That
be
sucks.
in sync for like 15 seconds, and then I started doing. I was gonna do the whole episode. Then I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I After the podcast last week, I recorded the audio from the live stream, and then just put that out as the podcast. So I had to
That's what I would have done.
I had to let my my computer sit there and record the audio,
Yeah,
and then go back.
I would have.
It was
I
very
would have done
very
that.
weird what the audio did on your end. Like it just skipped every, and just that. But you know as much as I know, like a half second of skipping
Mhm.
over time will just destroy the synced up
Well,
audio. You know.
yeah, it was like when I had that weird thing that happened with my podcast where my voice, for whatever reason, would randomly slow
Mm-hmm.
down by like an eighth of a second
And it
or
just
something like
messes up
that.
everything.
Yeah, you can't do anything. Yeah, I had to. Oh god, that suck. I had to record so many episodes again on that shit. I will 100% though make sure that by next episode I have my microphone. It's back to my original setup because I really don't like actually recording with this. It doesn't feel right. So
It's fine.
yeah,
It's fine. Worst comes to worst, I do it again. Doing that is a million times better than having to re-record. You know, so
re-recording sucks. It's
yeah.
never.
And you have to be like,
No.
so Colton, do you think anything about this guy who was in the woods?
You know
Oh,
what? Now that you say it,
any amateur podcasters like us have gone through the re-recording. Me and you have done it a few times.
I've had to re-record for two different situations. I've had to re-record three episodes total. Two of which was because of equipment malfunctions, equipment issues, and stuff like that. One time was because me and my old co-host Como got extremely too drunk while recording, and it was just us slurring and talking, and we didn't know what we were doing. And I like sent over to him. I was like, "Do you want to air this?" And he's like, "Fuck no!" Like it's just to be like, it was bad. It was really bad. So I always thought about releasing that one as like a special episode. But yeah. It's the worst. It is the worst re-recording.
So let's.
Oh man, I'm sorry about that.
Whoa.
Like still trying to cool down from running inside because it's fucking 80 degrees here in Houston for Christmas.
Yeah, it's fucking
Jesus.
so hot here. 80 degrees here too.
I was in Oklahoma. Normally it's at least we've had snow obviously in Oklahoma for Christmas. And I was up there. I had on like this, like one of those real thin, like pullovers, like a super thin pullover. You know, like it's like the Airwick stuff or whatever. Real thin pullover. I was wearing that over at my relative's house, and at one point I had to take it off. I was like, it's too fucking hot. I was like, I can't wear this. I was like, this is Christmas, and I can't wear a pullover. I'm having to be in a t-shirt in Oklahoma. Yeah. This is insane.
Let me do this here, and then we're good to go. You're good to go?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm ready to go. Rock and roll.
That's here. Okay. Hold on. Let me just out here. What's going on here? Oh, that's why. Okay, sorry. I'm just fixing the stream real quick.
Jin just commented. It's 70s and it's in the 70s in Oklahoma right now. I know. I just left from OKC this morning or this afternoon. I'm sorry, Jin. It's hot. It's hotter here and it's hot there, and I'm sorry you're having to deal with that. It is. Oh.
All right. Let's get this bitch on the road. Let me see here. Sorry.
No. I'm literally in no rush.
Hello. Ooh. Okay. All right. The 40s in Cali. Hell in Iowa. Jesus.
What?
All right. Are you gonna record on
Do you want me to do Audacity just in case?
Like
a random backup just in case?
I guess so. Yeah, I guess it can't hurt.
The only other thing I could think of is recording with my iPhone, just having it out as record like Dexter did in the bar.
No, just leave it. I'll let Zencaster handle it. It's fine.
Okay. We've never had a problem with it.
Yeah,
You know?
we just got scared that one time, and yeah, we're fine.
Okay. Hold on. I would it start. I had Audacity starting. I don't want a program to be starting while I'm recording. 1 second, then.
A wafa via. What do you mean by VOI? Whatever that is, just say it, and then Colton, let me know when you're ready.
Okay, 1 second. Oh shoot! I almost left the meeting. There we go. Okay, I'm ready now.
Good?
Yep.
All right, let me start up here. Get my Zencaster. Let's see, is this recording?
Shut up, cunt.
Yes, it is. All right. This is Victor, and now that he's done being pelted by baseballs, I'm joined by Colton. Colton. Merry day
Hello,
after
all.
Merry day after Christmas. We are here with episode 8, Unfair Game of Dexter New Blood. 2 episodes left. Oh, Colton is joining us moments after arriving from getting in from Oklahoma. So you should thank him for being on today's episode. You should probably Venmo him. His Venmo is at Victor McGill if you guys want to send him money.
Yeah, I definitely do that. We were ready to run in. It was hard.
So I think I figured out, well, not necessarily figured out as much as wanted to. We were talking about last week, like how we get our listeners, friends in the chat involved with the podcast, especially the finale. And the best way I can figure this out to do is, and I'm praying we don't get overloaded with submissions, I was basically thinking of like state what you think happens in the finale and specifically what happens to Dexter, what happens to Harrison.
Okay.
And then just sort of give us something to go off of. 30 seconds. 30 seconds is a long time if you're talking.
It is.
Just yeah, but specifically because you could just say this happened, but not. But like specifically, what happens to Dexter? What happens to Kurt? And obviously you want to get that in before the Sunday podcast of that finale, which is like what, January 9th.
I'm pulling it up.
So yeah, send them to at where do we diggingdexter@gmail.com. I guess if you send it makes my life a lot easier if you send a voice memo. But if you don't know how to and you send a video, that's fine. I could transcribe it to audio. But yeah, I guess that's the best way to get people involved. Just see who sort of play the prediction lottery of who gets it right. That person will get mentioned on our podcast.
I was gonna say, do we want to do something for that? Like, if anybody gets it 100% right, like 100% right, do we want to do like a T-shirt? Like, I say that. I don't know. I'm broke. It was Christmas. I'm broke.
Let's you're on the right idea.
I will mispronounce your name personally on this podcast. How about that?
That's a pretty good I might send a submission in. But yeah, send it in. If you get it 100% right and you nail it to a T, I don't know. Yeah, you get something. I'll figure that out over the weekend and we'll discuss that. This episode,
I'll have my daughter make you a macaroni photo.
An edible. This episode is 42 minutes long, which is sort of the shortest episode in Dexter history. I personally am okay with it. Did it bother you at all that it's 42 minutes? It is. It felt short, right?
It felt okay. I can't be a fair judge on this because I started watching the episode last night after going through all of Christmas, all of doing everything, and it was like 7 minutes left in the episode, and I was nodding off when I was watching it in the hotel room, and I was like, I can't finish this. And so I finished watching it this afternoon, And I was like, oh, okay, this is good. And then I was sitting there, I was like, man, that's a really long fucking episode for nothing. So I honestly, I'm the worst opinion on it right now. It didn't seem any shorter than any of it actually seemed long to me. So,
So
but
it
I have
definitely
weird
was, yeah,
circumstances.
it definitely was significantly shorter because I think the shortest one before this was one this season that was 44 minutes, and then there was episode in season 5, um, uh, whatever, Hopper Freighter, which is the second to last episode. Anyways, I bring this up to say I am so glad we get these short episodes in this point because like I had said probably since the start of season 6 that these should have been 10 episode seasons. I'm glad that this
Hmm.
episode's a 10 episode season. And
Hmm.
when you factor in like if this is all the story they have to tell and kind of preview my thoughts for the episode, I feel like they're definitely running out of steam in terms of ideas and
Hmm.
thoughts. When in an episode, a minute is such a long time in an episode. I want to say
Yes.
you have, we have somewhat of a bottle episode where half the episode is Dexter being chased, um, and then, you have like what 2.5 minutes or so of Kurt and Harrison just hitting baseballs.
Hmm.
So it's like, they stretched. This episode was probably going to be like 35 minutes, and they managed to squeeze out 7 minutes of stuff. You know, I bet you if you tally it together, there's just like a minute and a half of Dexter just driving. I say all that to say, tell the story you want to tell within your time frame. Don't jump to like. I'm so glad they did this, something like this. That's not to say I think we have so much packed into the final 2 episodes of questions to answer. I was gonna make a
Hmm.
list, but I just forgot. But we don't have any clarity on why he embalms them. Is
No.
is Olsen coming back? How does the Bay Harbor
No.
Butcher / Angela tie up? How does Kurt tie up?
Nope.
There's still Molly out there. There seems like a lot to pack into 2 episodes.
This was 100%. If you were to pick an episode this season that's a filler episode, this was 100% a filler episode. In my opinion, this was a filler episode. We have the last 5 minutes that actually matters to me, but other than that, the vast majority of what happened in this episode was filler material.
So I'm going to slightly agree with you and say it's a step below a filler episode. Whatever, to me the most not notorious, whatever, where everyone caught on to what a filler episode is or a bottle episode was Breaking Bad, the bug episode. It's the most notorious episode of Breaking
Oh,
Bad.
the fly,
Oh,
yeah,
the fly. Sorry. Oh my
yeah.
god, I didn't even see Leonardo's in the chat. Leo's a dude I was talking with on Twitter. He's actually from Miami, so I said he's a local. He's always welcome. What's up, Leo? Um,
Cool.
yes, I'm whatever. I don't know how you rank the terms of the episodes, but slightly below what a filler episode is, and we'll discuss why. But obviously, like you said, the big hookum moment of this episode comes at the end. Your your thoughts on the episode, glossing overall, before we get into the specifics of the episode.
I'm as much as I'm like sitting here watching this, like, okay, this really doesn't matter. At least I'm not mad. I wasn't mad watching this or anything like that. I was more just kind of like, okay, this is just it's kind of dragging on a little bit. I'll take that over getting mad at an episode. And yeah, there's some stuff out there that I'm sure we're going to get into that we can nitpick and we could be complaining about and stuff like that. But I think that there's some answers to some of it in my head, and I could be wrong on it. But um, I don't know. I saw some of my friends and stuff like that I know are watching Dexter on social media and stuff like that were complaining about certain parts, and I was like, me of all people, I'm going to nitpick shit. And I'm like, I'm really not nitpicking that. I really don't care. You know?
I I have to say I think the New Blood shine has worn off on me. I
Okay.
this setup that I have of Saturday night at 12 o'clock, like finally getting to 12 o'clock to watch the episode. I think a few episodes ago it kind of lost it. This episode, um, I don't know. I just sort of just didn't hit me as much. But what I did want to what happened?
I'll say this really quick. What you're talking about with it losing its son, I only watched this episode once. I haven't watched it twice. I didn't care to watch it twice. I was like, I remember enough on this one. I was like, I really don't care
The
to do
one
it a second go around.
the one thing I do want to compliment this show on, and I do think it is its greatest positive slash pro, is they have completely nailed down the aesthetic of where they are in terms of a snowy, wintry environment. Like, I always feel like everyone's cold. I feel like everyone needs lotion. I feel like everyone is wearing like under. I used to call them long johns. I don't know what you call them. The thermals.
That's what I call them. I call them long johns.
I feel like everywhere you go into, the heat is blasting. And obviously, like this episode, which I know you haven't seen Sopranos, but you can't help but not think about the classic Sopranos episode, Pine Barrens. All I want to say is like the idea, and because we talked about this, the Dexter series.
I was thinking Fargo the entire time. I've been
sure,
thinking
Fargo.
in this.
When you have snow and the hats, like, and whatnot. And we've talked about this in Dexter season 1 through 8, that they lost the shine of Miami. It stopped feeling like Miami. And this show, again, albeit it's only 8 episodes, really they're nailing and they're sticking with the cold aesthetic. Like, I always feel like they're cold out there, and I forget what the cold feels like because I've moved away from it. But watching these episodes, I'm like, oh yeah, like, just, I don't know.
And didn't they film this in the summer?
No.
Or am I mistaken by that? They filmed this in the winter?
No, no.
So all the snow is real. No. So all the snow is real. It's not like the soap or whatever, they blow out there. This is all real. They're like legitimately cold out here.
Yes. I think even like Scott Reynolds this week was even saying like this was one of the coldest shoots we ever had.
Okay.
I think
that's wrong. Okay.
I do remember them saying like they had to refilm something, that they had to add snow, but if you remember when we started out this season, they filmed the scene where Dexter and Harrison at the bus stop on the last day of filming.
I did. I listened to that episode, which I thought was kind of cool. They did that.
So there's, I think they did a little spot shooting because I think they had a tight schedule. But yeah, I think we can get into the actual episode. So this is a rare episode of this season where I'm able to split it into three parts. Obviously, we have the chase with Dexter and Elric. Got the Harrison and Kurt, where eventually Dexter shows up, and then the Angela storyline. Kirk. Let's start out with the chase, because I think
it takes up the most time, but
it takes up the most time, but also like kind of like nothing happens. Exactly. Let's
I'm all for it.
So our episode obviously starts out with Dexter having been captured, and he's sort of having a fever dream about Harrison. These kids from they show up and they all
Cool part. Cool opening. Very cool opening, by the way.
It took me a second or two to realize it was a dream. But then, like, why would these kids be showing up in their house? But once Harrison slices one of them with the scalpel, I was like, oh, okay. I think the most notable part here was when Harrison hits one of the kids with the frying pan. He does this face, and my apologies if you're not watching the stream, but that's on you. He does this. Is a callback to Dexter season 1 when he hits Paul with the frying pan. He makes the same.
I didn't even catch that.
He makes the same face. And I had this whole thing clipped together. I don't want to mess up the stream if I try to show it here, but I'm gonna try and get it on our social media during the week. But they both make the same face when they hit with the frying pan. So
did you throw your remote at the TV like you promised you would?
That's coming soon.
Okay.
So that's a cheeky little callback. I was also wondering if it was a callback the way Harry walked in on Dexter, and Dexter is all proud about what he did, and like Harry's disgusted. in season 2. Sort of the same thing here of Harrison's super proud with the blood all over him, and Dexter kind of walks in and is not proud. But Dexter wakes up, does the move of using the zip ties to choke the driver. I don't know what this is. I've seen this movie before, like usually with handcuffs. You know, I'm sure that move is has a name to it. Crashes, shoots him in the leg, and there goes our.
Mind you, Dexter goes through a window first, goes through a window, rolls through, and is A-okay, which I was a little like, oh, okay, we'll not nitpick this, but that's okay.
I realized on my second watch of like, why doesn't this guy, this is Elric, right? Why doesn't he kill Dexter on the spot? And then I realized what we see at the end of the episode was he was supposed to bring him back alive so Kurt could make Dexter watch him kill Harrison. So this chase stuff, I guess my whole thing, this is hard to like intelligently, not that we ever intelligently talk about anything, but you know, if we're going to talk about the chase and whatnot, maybe there are specifics that we can make it thematic and tie into everything. But the way I took it was like, all right, no one seriously thinks Dexter's going to get killed here.
Right.
We all know he survived. It's like, now can you make it compelling enough that there's tension? And personally, I just didn't feel it. Maybe it's because I know he's not going to get caught. I know every time Dexter gets captured, I know nothing's going to happen to him. The Dexter show has trained me to never really fear something. You know, even if someone walks in on Dexter killing someone, which has happened on the show, it's still not, there's not going to be serious consequences. So I really don't have much to say until we get to the cabin. I just don't really have much to add to it because it just seems like, you know, we see Deb really quick. You know, Harrison's blood is on his hands. Anything to add before we get to the cabin? Because I personally don't have much.
The cabin is in Kirk's cabin?
No. When Dexter sneaks up to that camp.
The summertime camp or whatever. Okay, no, absolutely nothing with that chase until then.
And you know, he leads him. I guess he waited for nightfall. I don't know what that whole part was. How Elric knew to wait. Gets in there. You know, the classic TV trope of bringing a knife to a gunfight.
I made sure I texted you.
Yeah, that was really funny.
I literally rolled my eyes when he said that. I was like, "Good God, they did not really put this in this show." But okay, all right, we get it.
Yeah. Oh my God, you just reminded me of something. But let's finish this line. So
what? Okay, let me do like my one little tiny nitpick of the whole show. I'm really not gonna nitpick this episode that much, but the one nitpick I am gonna do on this one is the fact that he is in this camp, which is fine. It's fine he finds in this camp, and it's fine he finds a knife. I'm actually okay with him finding a knife in this camp. Like, let's say that it's a camp, it's closed down, it's winter and stuff like that. They suck up. This knife that he finds, this butcher knife, just so happens to look exactly like his kill knife, the silver handle and all that. And I was like, really? Like, and it's all like perfectly shiny. And I get what they're doing and stuff like that. I don't know why it annoyed me, but that annoyed me. Like, I don't know. In my head, I was like, if you pulled out a knife and it was all dirty and like grimy looking, I think that would have been kind of more badass looking, you know? But it was like a surgical knife. And I was like, this is what you find in this dilapidated camp at this point was, and maybe it's because I was already annoyed with the brought a knife to it. And I think he said that after that, but it just brought it home even more to me. That annoyed me so much, and I don't know why. There's more I can nitpick on this show, and I'm not going to. For whatever reason, that really got me.
I think the most surprising thing there is that you said dilapidated correctly. That was amazing. That's a digging Dexter
dilapidated.
first. I think it was cool, fun little imagery. You know, Elric is looking at the mirror, and I do enjoy the way that they made the zip ties make it look like he was like almost
Smile.
like the Joker. Yeah, like a
Yeah, I
twisted
was cool with
version.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the mirror says you are beautiful,
Hmm.
and then Dexter jumps through it. I do want to say, you know, well, actually, I'll bring it up later. And yeah, so he kills him, smart enough to not tip off Kurt that he knows what he knows, and is on his way to the cabin, which we'll talk about in a second. Something I wanted to bring up, and I complained about it last episode, that I fucking get it. Harrison and Dexter eat alike. This week, Showtime posted a post of sort of like a side-by-side video. It was like 20 seconds, but I think they even put the caption of like, let me pull it up while I'm
Mirrored
talking
images.
here.
What is it? It's like mirrored
No,
images.
it was
or,
like notice the difference or see the similarities or something like that.
Notice the little things. I think that was it. Notice the little things or something.
Pay attention to the patterns.
That's it.
And they show
No
the two of them
shit.
eating the same, and I was like, wow.
This is worse than a Dexter voiceover.
So, I guess if we're gonna leave the Kurt stuff for last, you know, there's not much Angela, but the Angela we do have is there's huge stuff here.
Can I bring up one thing then really quick?
Go ahead.
Only because I don't have an issue with it. Only because I
don't have an issue with what?
I'm gonna bring it up. Hold on.
You just said I don't have an issue with it. I didn't know what you were talking about. Go ahead.
Okay, so apparently people had a problem with, from what I saw in some social media, and I was on Facebook, I was looking at some comments and stuff like that, of the kill that Dexter does with Eric, where he leaves the body and everybody's like, this is going to come back to haunt him. You know, he's going to have fingerprints and all of this. I didn't really have this big of an issue with him leaving him because in my head, I'm like, this is like the one legitimate self-defense kill Dexter has in the show, where I'm like, okay, so they find his things. Dexter can be, yeah, I got shot in the leg by this guy. Look, he has his gun. There's a thing there. I did stab him because he was hunting me through the woods. I didn't really see that big of an issue with it. Like, I don't know.
So you're not wrong, and you bring up a larger point of why wouldn't, after this episode ends, why wouldn't Dexter and Harrison go to the cops and say, Kurt tried to kill my son? What? Why? Usually the villain knows something about Dexter that could ruin him. To my understanding, all we have is circumstantial evidence of he knew the
Kirk
ash
something
from the snow from the local crematory and a titanium screw, which I guess if you bring Angela into the picture, it looks suspicious. But otherwise, if this was a court of law,
there's no conviction on suspicion.
Yeah, and it's like Harrison could tell me, I had a fucking sniper here. And yet, hey, remember last week Kurt was like the #1 most wanted person and he looked like an obvious killer? By the way, that didn't happen this week. So it's like, you bring up this point of like, yeah, you don't believe me? Hey, check this fucking guy Elric's phone, and I had to kill him because he was chasing me through the woods and he shot me in the leg and he captured me.
Yeah.
Here's but we don't have a show if they do that. So
fair enough. I guess I didn't think
with you.
I saw people complaining about it, and I was like, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. Maybe it will. I could very well be wrong. In next episode, it could be a huge deal that.
So I guess we just have to wait and see. The Dexter universe has taught me like Dexter can kill someone and it just will never get mentioned again. Like the beginning of season 5, he kills that man on a boat and or whatever, the little gas station, and we never hear anything about that again.
Right, and then yeah, that's true.
Troy in the chat, he's saying, why was he hunting him? Raised a lot of questions. Can you expound on that? Because I thought it was pretty clear why he was, but maybe I'm missing something that you're bringing up. So the Angela storyline, let me just run through it because I really don't think there's much to discuss.
She's only in it for like 5 minutes, right? I'm not mistaken on that,
No, it's very,
right?
it's
Not even
very,
not even not even 5 minutes, probably, right?
maybe combined 5, 6, 7 minutes,
Okay.
right around there. Um, so Angela finds out about the drug dealer Miles that Dexter was going to kill. Then he goes and interviews Miles, and after
Mhm.
describing their encounter, Angela takes a picture of the needle injector hole for more evidence.
Mhm.
That's in one corner. The second corner, Logan then tells Angela what happened to Jasper, which is the guy Dexter had killed, made him OD in the
Mhm.
house as they were entering the house as well. Angela sensing that the timeline means someone else was involved. Go ahead.
I had a question on that, and I'm literally not nitpicking on this one. This was a continuality. Jasper snort his own drugs by closing his mouth and putting that knife with the stuff on. I didn't think he inject. Did he inject him?
I think he,
I
yeah,
didn't think
yeah,
he
when he was
did.
in his house. Remember, he was in his house and then he snuck up behind him. The guy was playing video games and Dexter was
All
like,
right.
game over or something. He's like, he's here to play video games.
Oh, okay. No, you're what? You're right. I thought he. I was confused by that because I thought he like managed to grab him and knock him out some other way that he couldn't
No,
inject
he
him,
injected him the
and
same way.
he killed him by doing that. Okay, okay, okay. So my obviously that's why I said it wasn't a nitpick. I was like,
Hmm.
I didn't remember that. Okay, cool. All right, we're good.
And then once Angela goes to investigate, Jasper finds this same needle puncture in his neck as well. How the medical examiner slash coroner completely missed that, follow the code. Angela back at
Yeah.
home is comparing the injections of both of them and sees ketamine in both, decides to Google ketamine, Miami homicide. Multiple websites show up that this is what James Stokes, the Bay Harbor butcher, did to his victims, and Angela takes one more look at the obituary photo of Dexter Morgan, and okay, so let me ask you, do you have any problem with this?
God damn it. Yes and no.
Go ahead.
Like, okay, M99 was a big factor in Dexter. Now, I maybe I've seen some stuff out there where people were saying M99 and ketamine are technically kind of something about they're similar, and then other people are yelling, no, it's not similar. I'm not a pharmacist. I'm not about to get in on that. I don't know. I don't know, so I'm not going to say that M99 and ketamine would maybe potentially show up as the same thing on an analysis. I don't think they would, but I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to get in on that. So I don't like that there are like ketamine is all of a sudden this major factor, and Dexter makes a very point that it's his own concoction, and M99 is the main component of it. Um, but why do you, of all things, Angela? Like, why is Angela? My biggest thing was why is Angela? I get that she's suspicious of Dexter because he's from Miami, and she knows that he worked for Miami Metro. So there's obviously these red flags. But why is it that all of a sudden you're like, well, let me connect him to the Bay Harbor butcher? And I get that Molly brought up that she didn't believe that story and stuff like that. But I don't want to. I don't know. But I don't want to nitpick on it too much because the idea that this fucking cop from bumfuck nowhere, New York, could potentially solve better than Miami Metro is an amazing idea. So,
So
oh no,
let
man,
me
I
say
don't know.
this. She didn't go searching for the Bay Harbor butcher. She typed in ketamine Miami
Right,
homicide,
right, right,
and
right,
the
right,
first website
right.
that pops up is the Bay Harbor butcher. Now,
Correct.
I am okay with Angela's suspicion. This guy lied about who he was, faked his death, a son showed up on his doorstep. Fine. The stuff that Logan is explaining to her about how the Miles arrest went down, that to me is a concerned parent, very angry. Fine. When you take all of that plus what Molly told her last episode, it does make you think. I think most people would investigate their significant other more if they were just dumped with all this information about their loved one, their
Right.
loved one, their significant other. I think the biggest problem we have here is I'm going to be talking for a little bit, so excuse me. The biggest problem we have here is in the 8 seasons of Dexter, they never once said Dexter injects with ketamine.
Ketamine, yeah.
And the article explicitly states that James Stokes, the Bay Harbor Butcher, used ketamine to, his victims, sedate his victims. So there's no like mincing of words here. So again, the biggest problem is Dexter. We even have an episode, season 1, episode 5, Love American Style. It is a point that Masuka finds the needle hole in one of the bodies that the ice truck killer at the time brought back up. And then Dexter has to, that's where we have the moment where Dexter has to change his name to Patrick Bateman, so no one suspects Dexter is the one who's getting the M99. So they make it a point. Even scenes later, my M99 will take him out, etc., etc., etc. So now
he says M99 multiple times throughout the show. Not even that season. He says it throughout the show. He says M99.
So now we're here, season 9, whatever, limited series, episode 104. We're now saying the Bay Harbor Butcher used ketamine on his victims, which is completely conflicting with what we know about the Bay Harbor Butcher, who is not.
So they're not even close to the same. They're not close. I don't know. I'm like I said, I'm not trying to delve that much into it. I was trying to okay, sure. So ketamine and N99, they're not close to the same thing.
So
right?
if you dig deep
is
enough,
is N99 a real thing?
Yes,
it's a real thing.
Animal tranquilizer. So if you dig deep and
ketamine is too.
If you dig deep enough, apparently you can confuse the two when doing tox screens and whatnot. But we're talking next level confusion about stuff.
The FBI was involved in this stuff, so
there is a possibility that there's confusion. But you can't throw at us if they're so here's the problem. If they go back and retcon what they did in seasons 1 through 8, that's just cheating. And it's as sloppy as connecting Kurt knowing about Dexter killing his son. Like, that's a very weak connection, and now we're just supposed to... Kurt was ready to kill Harrison based on that. Fine. Otherwise, you could have...
Doesn't he say that at one point? Like, I did like a half a dose of N99 so they wouldn't suspect it.
Yeah, they say M99 plenty that you don't have... There's no... This is an obvious... I refuse to believe it's a mistake from the writers because it's a pretty big part of the Dexter legacy.
Maybe this will come back. Maybe this will come back next episode.
Right. So what I'm saying is, but I wonder the correction of it has to be rather solid. As I sit here and I try to talk about all the ways that we can make it gives Dexter an out. It just has to be so good that we're not thinking of it. They would make this completely not happen. Like, I'm 99% positive, and anyone in the chat can back me up. Not once during the Bay Harbor Butcher season 2, do they ever bring up M99 or the needle holes. Mm-hmm. So it's like that's not even a part of it, but I could be wrong on that. I'm not sure of that. All that to say, I am tired of the Bay Harbor Butcher part. This would be the 3rd time we're trying the same storyline. Mm-hmm. And yes, like you said, and like we said last episode, if a woman 8 some odd years later, X amount of miles away, is able to figure out that Dexter's the Bay Harbor Butcher, that's just it's making your Miami Metro characters seasons 1 through 8 look so bad. It's such like a bad whatever. I don't know. I have a problem with it. I'm trying to hold off. We have 2 episodes left for them to figure this out. It just seems like
I do have a problem. I want to make it clear. I do have a problem with it. I'm just really trying to look the other way on this one because, yeah. But I do, yeah.
So
I did want to point out.
mm-hmm.
Sorry, no, go ahead.
No. What are you gonna say?
Oh, it's just a comment. I was looking at the comments and I saw Kayla had made a comment, which I thought was actually kind of cool because we're talking about with the drugging and everything like that. Um, that she's kind of curious how Molly never saw a picture of Dexter when looking at the Trinity case file. That's something that never occurred to me, and I was like, yeah, because she even talks about like the son that was left and stuff like that, and how fucked he was going to be. It's like, oh,
I mean, for how much
kind of.
how much deep diving she does, you would assume like that would have happened by now. But
Hey, I know his face from
right.
somewhere.
Um. So I took it upon myself to Google ketamine Miami homicide, and the first thing that comes up is this Reddit, all these Reddit topics. But then the first one,
Okay.
because when you Google ketamine in Miami, you're gonna get crazy shit. I guess in an alternate universe where the Bay Harbor butcher happened. The first one is kill Gus Boulis's killer from the Miami New Times. And then the second one that comes up is ketamine that's injected during arrest draws new scrutiny. So if you want to go look up ketamine Miami homicide, you won't find any Bay Harbor butcher links, but you'll find that.
You'll find some fun Florida man stories.
Right.
So
So I I refuse to believe those writers sat there in the room and said, yes, let's do ketamine for the Bay Harbor butcher, and no one was like, hey guys, it's M90.
we'll wait till next episode. I want to wait. I on this one. I want to wait till next episode. If she goes to him and says, "Hey, I did some searches and I saw that there's this Bay Harbor butcher and he was putting ketamine," and Dexter's like, "Oh my god, he's onto my tactics." I'll be like, "Fuck this show. Fuck that. Throw the TV. I'm done. I'm out. Like I'm not doing it." Like if we completely forget that M99 was ever a thing, or he doesn't say M99 and ketamine can be similar, she must have figured out my path or something like that. If there's nothing that explains it, I'm out. I'm done. You'll finish it out on your own. I'm not doing it.
There was one. I'm sorry. I really don't want to harp on this, but I forgot there was one way, and it would be so silly, but I thought of one way it could happen. Dexter back in 2007 changed M99 to ketamine so he could still get M99, thinking it would never come back up again, not knowing he fucked himself 14 some odd years later. Was the one thing I came up with. That so when they bring it up, it says, we get the explanation why it says ketamine. But let's move on to our
Yeah.
most storyline. I'm sorry. I'm doing 17 things here. Our main storyline. Harrison alone on Christmas Eve. Kurt calls, kind of creepily, baiting Harrison into making Jim/Dexter look bad. So it's explicitly said this episode, it's Christmas Eve. Audrey is buying her tree on Christmas Eve. If you want to talk about big fucking plot holes, why are you buying a tree? You're done. You don't.
Can you even buy a tree? Can you even buy a tree on Christmas Eve?
What sad ass Charlie Brown tree are you getting on Christmas Eve? That's the last
Oh
of
my
the
God.
pack.
What is that movie, Christmas, where they're cranks, where they're buying a tree and they're like $100 or whatever, and it's like the worst little tree ever? No, there's no way. You're not doing it.
Yeah, pick up a plastic tree from the store and just put it on your table. Someone's saying that Audrey working there. I don't know if I had her working there. I thought she was getting a tree, but regardless, if she's not buying the tree, who's the other person buying a tree on Christmas Eve? Kurt takes Harrison to school, and I guess, we know. So this whole, if we want to talk about really quick, we can get into specifics, but the whole arc here is Kurt is taking Harrison for the day to soften him up, let him talk about his feelings, his vulnerabilities, and then kill him to like gain his trust when he already kind of had his trust.
I don't know.
Okay, I'm so glad you're not like.
I.
It's so weird.
There was because okay, well there was like I keep going because I don't want to get into it too much yet because then I'm gonna be like jumping forward. I feel like, but yes, this is weird. Like, and it's not just weird for like, oh, this is weird. Why is Kurt doing this? But it was like even more like, why? Like, why is this even happening?
So, I mean,
Like,
I would assume part of it was Kurt trying to get Harrison's trust.
well, yeah, I get that.
But he had Harrison's trust from the moment he said, "I'm picking you up. Let's break into a school." Now, maybe, and this isn't told in the show, but if we're to make it all work, Elric is having trouble bringing Dexter back, so Kurt has to like buy time with Harrison. But it seems awfully cruel. And yes, this is a man who captures women, but
Which is a whole nother. That's my big complaint of this episode is, and I'll get into that in a minute.
what? Because now you have me confused, and I'm tossing it back to you because I lost my train of thought.
Okay, yeah, no, my biggest complaint of this whole entire fucking episode is of all the people that Kirk's deciding to all of a sudden kill is Harrison.
Well,
Okay, and I get it. And he even said something like the sins of your father and stuff like that. But this is a person that he is now one of the most famous people in this city. And granted, it's a small ass city, but this is the most famous person because he just saved the school from the school shooter, and he just broke a fucking kid's arm in a live match that everybody saw, and all of a sudden he's just going to disappear because you kill him, and that's not going to raise eyebrows and stuff like that when you've been killing drifter women this entire time. Like, that makes no fucking sense to me whatsoever. Like, none. And maybe there's something else that they're his drive to do this kill. Besides obviously, I want Dexter to see this. I want to cause him torture and I want to cause him pain and stuff like that. But you've been really smart about how you've been doing stuff in this entire time. And I mean, again and again, Dexter fucks up. So I don't know. It just seemed real sloppy for him. I don't know.
So I wonder if there's anything here where you have the Trinity. We call him the Trinity Killer, and then you find out towards the end of the season he's not the Trinity Killer. He's the quad
Drupal killer, whatever.
The quad killer, where it's actually little boys go missing, so they don't ever get put in there. I wonder if this is his cycle. I will not accept the backstory as to why Kurt does this whole ritual with women. What's the point of it? We don't know why the embalming part comes in. That has to be answered. As for,
I thought it was kind of interesting. He said something. You have to pay for the. Doesn't he say you have to pay for the sins of your father or something like that?
The choices of your father. Yeah.
Okay, and I thought that was kind of interesting. They added that into it. I was like, okay, I wonder if that's
so the only thing that like doesn't connect is, first of all, it's still strange if this whole the whole season is standing on the anchor of Kurt suspects Dexter killed his son off ash and a screw, that he's now going to kill Harrison because what? Like, I don't know. Furthermore, what is Kurt's involvement with his son? Because we have yet to see him be sad or anything about his son dying. Like, we have no. So okay, so he thinks he knows that Matt was cremated in the local crematory. All we've seen from him is absolute happiness. Remember when he's at the bar and he's basically orgasmed to the song coming on and he's dancing with the bartender? Mm-hmm. Like, is he that upset over losing his son? Or, and this is what I think it's supposed to be, he's mad that Dexter kind of caught on to him, came to the cabin with Molly, saved from Molly, and that aspect of it. With the risk of not trying to keep saying we have 2 episodes, so maybe we'll get more answers. Definitely, as it stands, at the very worst, I think it's shaky. Like, everything we're standing on about how this all these characters connect, it's just shaky. We'll get there in a second. If you want to bring up the again, it's so hard to discuss because I feel like we don't have a clear enough picture, but the way he's connecting with Harrison is, I don't want to say masterful, but I feel like you have like Harrison, this puppy, and he's doing like such a good job of just being like, you know, Kurt's like, hey, I don't have a good relationship with my son. Not like we have, me and you, Harrison, right? And he like elbows him. Like, that's a good
Right.
way to make a kid who feels lost in the world wanted.
Well, I mean, that's essentially an abuse. Not an. Is it abusive? I'm trying to think. A manipulative like person.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what a manipulative person will
Dilapidated.
do.
Mm-hmm.
Dilapidated. A dilapidated person will do that. So, the entire time I'm watching him when he's sitting there saying that, oh well, I would never do that to my son. I would never do this, and I'm sitting there like, okay, is Harrison really gonna fall for this shit? Okay, yeah, he's falling for it. Let me make you some venison. Let me cut you up some deer meat, son, and I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna give you some single malt scotch. It's the best that's out there and stuff like that. All right, so you're a pedophile, but that's okay. So I I didn't really buy a lot of that. It was kind of unusual. I, I don't.
So
It's hard for me to go too much into it
yeah,
because it's what happened in this episode is so much different than what happened 3 episodes ago. Like there's no hotel room with strawberries and chocolate. There's no champagne. There's no girls hanging out in there. There's no camera. It's Kirk more physically involved, I guess. And then not only to top that, but before we even get into all this, Kirk was embalming somebody.
right.
At least that's what it looked to happen with shooting the girl in the fucking eye, and Molly getting Dexter coming in and rescuing Molly. Maybe all this stuff is fucking with him. But if that's the situation, they need to have, I guess, maybe shown a little more signs of it. I don't know. I don't know.
Let's talk about the scene when they're in the batting cage. Um,
Okay.
so, you know, I think this is I was trying to use the right words for it, but like, you know, a sort of alternate version of playing like pitch and catch with your dad, right? Where they're just hitting baseballs, just like the classic way to bond with a father. And this scene with Harrison just getting absolutely pelted, I couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah.
I know it's supposed to be like, I don't know, like intense. I don't know what the word is, but so basically what the show is trying to tell us is that like as Harrison gets mad, he just thinks of his father and he just keeps getting angry. And somehow Kurt is able to detect this.
Uh-huh.
The amount of times Harrison just gets pelted in his rib cage, it just didn't have the effect that it was supposed to have. Of like him, every time he gets hit, he just thinks of another moment he was yelling and fighting with his father.
Okay.
I don't know. I just was laughing hysterical. I'm assuming you weren't.
I was, but I wasn't laughing hysterical on it, but I was more like what is going on? I guess I was just kind of confused
Mm-hmm.
because I was in my head. I'm sitting here trying to like connect stuff. I'm like, okay, well maybe there's a reason for this. Maybe there's this. Like when he's looking at his bruises and you can see, okay, this is where he got stabbed at. Was he getting pelted because he wanted to feel the pain of getting stabbed because he feels guilty? I was like, well, if that's the situation, why was he doing it this way? And why was he cool with Kirk doing this? And why did Kirk not question why he's doing it? Why did he not question Kirk not questioning him? Like, I don't know. My mind was going all over the place with this batting scene. It made no sense to me. Like, well, I've got the keys. I can get in. We can do whatever. Well, you're going to rate me in this school, aren't you? Like, that's in my head. Like, who wants to go with an old man to a high school and break in with the keys to go bat? I don't. It didn't make sense to me.
You know, and the reason why the scene felt weird is because like Kurt is sitting there watching Harrison visibly get angry, but like, does Kurt know what Harrison's getting angry about? Like, I guess he does. It's, you know what? As we're talking
Maybe.
and as we keep me and you just throwing questions back at each other, I guess in the end it's just muddy. And I want to say ambiguous, which is sort of like a sign of a well-written TV show. We still don't know Kurt's motive in this, and the whole idea of like
Right.
bonding with him to kill him, and the idea of how he
Right.
suspects Dexter. It's just like, it's not ambiguous, it's muddy, and there's a difference. And I'm
Right.
not gonna lean on the ambiguous side. When they go back to
Yeah.
when I go back to Kurt's cabin, I want to mention, I think we brought this up before. Then there's some like texting dialogue from Harrison and Dexter. The show has absolutely stepped up their cell phone game. I think we've said this before.
Well,
it just doesn't say delete yes or no.
Text message from Deb, and it's just like this big, like, one message. Hey. Yeah. It wasn't a lot to step up from, but yes, it has stepped up from it.
So Kurt is really breaking Harrison down here. You know, he's like he's good at like relating to Harrison, you know, brings in the choice of his father, you know, the same way like Dexter was unable to talk to Angela. Well, the same way Dexter was able to talk to Angela, but not Harrison. I feel like we have the same thing here where Harrison's able to talk to Kurt and really give his like true feelings and actually have a conversation. But with Dexter, it's just always anger and running off. Kurt has made so much more of an attempt to bond with Harrison than Dexter has this season. God, I just want to keep talking about why is Kurt doing this, but fine. Let's move it. Let's move on.
Right.
We know Kurt is, you know, we talk about serial killers here, and like Dexter is supposed to be this. He's a serial killer, but he only kills the bad guys. And, you know, we have Kurt here who's, you know, on the other side of the coin of he's killing women, capturing them and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
How fucking cruel, because this is the exact way the scene goes. As they're talking, Kurt looks at Harrison and he just goes, "If you were my son, I would have never left you." And you could see the poor kid Harrison's eyes start tearing. And then Kurt's like, "Yo, BRB."
Hold on. My clock just did something. I gotta go real quick. I'll be right back, boy. Don't worry.
And this man comes out. It is the only time in the Dexter.
Well, somebody comes. We don't know who it was. Somebody comes out in a white outfit. I think Olsen came out and he's intimidating Kirk's voice personally. But somebody came out. So, yeah. This weird, creepy guy comes out dressed in white. It was weird. That's your cue to go right ahead, sir.
I was legitimately frightened when this unnamed individual steps out in that clothing. There's definitely a ritual involved, right? Because he puts on those clothes there.
Yeah, that's there's something about that outfit that we don't know because he didn't wear that outfit in the truck. So I don't know what that is.
Like I said, I was like legitimately shocked and gasped. Like I just couldn't believe how cruel and how quickly he was like, "Yo, I would never leave you. Be right back. It's time to fucking kill you." That's just like crazy cruel.
Like, yeah.
So he, you know, as he tosses him outside and is telling him to run, I would have thought, and I think I've seen people in the chat say like I thought Harrison would have had more fight in him to actually run. Like I'm surprised he didn't actually like try to fight him, because I feel like Kurt has unnamed man has all the power, and he never expects them to fight back. like that one girl was like, fuck it. I know if I'm Chloe a few episodes ago, I know if I'm running,
Mhm.
I'm dead. So I might as well try and put up some fight. And he just kind of shoots him. Um, so as this is happening, as Harrison is finally running and we think like, oh my God, he's actually going to kill Harrison. Dexter shows up. You know, and all this time he's been texting Harrison like, hey, don't trust them. Harrison puts his phone on airplane mode. You know, it's like, God, if the two of you only knew what was really about to
Going
happen.
on, yeah.
And at the same time, Dexter shows up, gets a few shots in his car. The man Kurt, who jumps aside, Dexter and Harrison hug. Watching Kurt, a.k.a. Clancy Brown, run
AKA Olsen twins' dad.
was
Yes.
one of the funniest moments for me in this episode. Just seeing that old man run was just like... So let me tell you, if I was talking with Jen last night, as soon as the episode ended, I was furious. I was like, wait a second. They just found Kurt with the gun tossed on the side of his cabin, and Dexter and Harrison both let him go. I was just so mad. It reminds me in season 7, Dexter has, I forget the gentleman's name. Why did I call him a gentleman? And then LaGuerta and another cop show up, and he tosses him in the whatever, the bay, and then like the scene just cuts to the next morning. And it's like, oh my God, you had so much tension there and you just let it go. On my rewatch, I noticed something that as Dexter gets out of the car, there's a moment as he's running away. It looks like he has like a split second make a decision moment where he kind of has like this, like on the left side of his face as he turns his head, he wants to like go and kill Kurt with his bare hands. Then it looks like at the same time he sees Harrison and he's like, oh man, fuck everything, I'm running to Harrison. I like that moment.
Okay, I like that. Okay.
So I was so... I'm reading here in the chat. I thought Trinity slipping away after dumping the kid in concrete was goofy, but Kurt fleeing the scene into a barren wasteland was a whole other level. And then in all caps,
Olsen
he has a car.
Olsen twins' dad had snow camo. I don't know if you've ever played Call of Duty. When you have the snow camo, you can blend in. Okay? It's not that unbelievable. Olsen twins' dad is out there blending in with that barren fucking snow wasteland. He's got the mask on, so he looks like snow. There it is.
I think on second watch, there is I think it's a conveniently placed dark patch of land, which I'm assuming is a Kurt bunker. A bunker for Kurt. But still, it's just, I guess the emotion of the moment makes Dexter and Harrison hug and completely forget about Dexter. But it's just, it was so infuriating to me at the moment that like if we would have turned our mics on right there, it would have just been me complaining for like 10 minutes, and it would have brought up all the other times that they done this in the show. I forgot about the Trinity one only because Dexter does the Darth Vader. No, and he goes, Arthur. But you know, oh God, but like, you know what? Fine. This moment is supposed to be emotional. It's about Dexter and Harrison, you know, catching up. Then we get the scene in the car where, you know, what could have deleted this whole season if the two of them just would have talked. And like even Dexter says it, like, is that all I had to do? Like, hey, I'm gonna tell you everything. I guess you have to fucking go through hardships before you get to that point. But simply letting him, he's not alone. His dark thoughts are the same as Dexter. They're both born in blood. Dexter explicitly states he's going to tell him everything.
Is he?
Well,
that's my biggest thing.
Let me say.
Okay. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No. If they don't do that, And if Dexter's not there explaining everything, I'm already disappointed with the season, but I'll somehow be more disappointed. But
if he doesn't admit to like, hey, I've killed over 50 people. I'm just being honest. Like, if he doesn't admit, like, hey, so by the way, I've done all this, I'm actually gonna be pissed. Like, I legitimately will be pissed off. Like, don't downplay it. I want Dexter to just come out raw. Like, look, this is who I am. Hey, have you ever heard of the Bay Harbor Butcher? It's your old man. You want me to sign an autograph? I'll do it right here and there. Yeah, you know about those blood slides? I got some extras. I'll give them to you. I'll initial them for you. Like, if he doesn't do all of this shit, no, I'm not. Not this whole wife wanted to kill, but I never have, or something like that. Then I'll be pissed off. I'm not gonna accept it.
I would hope that the show, I think if he tells him everything, I think it almost for certain means Dexter's death. You know, he's just putting everything out there to eventually die. But kind of like we were.
I see a couple of people talking about like him teaching him the code. I don't think that's going to happen. The only reason I don't think that's going to happen is the amount of time that we have left in the show. I feel like that would be a much longer process, I think. But if he does teach it and they do it right, I'm all for it.
I would assume he does or tries to teach him. Yeah, it would be pretty silly if like Harrison has perfected the code, you know, in
let's have a montage.
in
montage.
An 80s montage of music. If they do it that quickly, but I guess I'll leave it. You know, we have Kurt, Harrison, Dexter. We all know Kurt's dead, one way or the other. Whether it's Dexter and Harrison, just Dexter. Mm-hmm. I doubt just Harrison does it. Then comes the question, Dexter or Harrison. It would be crazy if Harrison is brought back just to die. That poor kid lived a terrible life and then he dies. So that's why I'm like sort of shifting everything to Dexter.
But do you want Harrison to kill Dexter?
Do I want? Oh, so
I'm not saying like this is what you want, but like, will you be satisfied if that's like an outcome?
So
I won't. I'll say that. I won't.
Where we currently stand, you would think the two of them are going to be the best buddies, best killing team duo. You know, they're going to really reveal themselves and whatnot. I feel like last week I was so sure that spoiler ending that I read was going to happen. Obviously, I'm now not as sure.
Yeah.
I've said from the beginning, before the season, that Harrison is the one who kills Dexter. I guess I'm going to stick with it. I just have 8 episodes of cloudiness clouding my head. I do think, I always thought in the end Harrison kills Dexter with the opportunity of a spinoff, so I guess I'm going to stick with it. What happens over these 2 episodes that causes that, I guess, is part of the question.
I'm still going to stick with mine that I think, as of right now, I think that Dexter gets some kind of a mortal injury from Kirk, and Harrison still kills Kirk, but Dexter doesn't survive. That's going to be my guess. It's, if you've watched Logan, it's essentially that kind of.
Harrison kills Kirk, even though Kirk is not the confirmed killer. What do you mean by that?
No. I want to say there's going to be like kind of a showdown, essentially, somehow. Why are you laughing? No, I'm concerned I didn't hear the question right.
You know you didn't. I was We were doing a bit, man. So if Harrison doesn't know,
I'm sorry.
If Harrison doesn't know that Kurt is the one killing these people, why would he kill Kurt?
Wait, what?
Never mind. We don't know.
This whole bit is going.
Well, we don't know that.
No. So Olsen twins' dad.
Shut up, cunt. Shut up,
Olsen
cunt.
twins.
Shut up, cunt.
Shut up. Olsen
Shut up,
twins'
cunt.
dad's gonna come in, okay, and he's gonna mortally wound Dexter after he's embalmed Kirk. Okay, he's gonna have embalmed Kirk, and he's gonna be mortally wounding Dexter, and then Harrison is gonna have to fight Matt because Matt has not been confirmed dead yet. Okay, and they're gonna have a show off. And it's gonna be baseball bats like lightsabers. Okay, and they're gonna fight it down. Mark my words, that's the ending.
Shut up, cunt.
We will. Oh, shit. I love having to remind you twice. Like, hey, do the bit.
Fuck. We'll do it live. Fuck.
We'll do it live. Oh boy.
That's a good way to go out, actually.
I guess you don't watch the previews for the next week. I do now. I'm just gonna say. Actually, you don't want to hear this, but the chat. Can you do earmuffs for a second, then, so you don't hear this?
Yeah. Just raise your hand. Like, give a thumbs up when you're done.
So I think we are going back to Miami for a flashback. I think that was what the kill clown thing was. I wonder if that's Dexter teaching Harrison the code, sort of like, like a training montage, but Dexter explaining everything. To Jen's point, I wonder if that's where Trinity shows up again, if he has anything to do there. But I do think that Miami they do the thing with the Michael Scott hair and everything. But let me get Colton back now. And yeah, that's where we see that Dexter kills Kurt. Oh, you could hear me. All right, we will be back next week.
And it was in Iowa? It was in Iowa? I knew it.
We will be back next week. Oh my God, it's the last episode of the year. Again.
Oh shit!
Once again, everyone, Happy New Year. We will, guys, everyone get ready for this joke. Ready?
Oh fuck!
Ready? Get here, everyone. If everyone's here, we'll talk to you next year. All right, I stopped recording.
You're such a fucking dad. Oh my God, I have to pee though. I have to pee so bad. I'm gonna go
just
pee
don't
really
close
quick.
out Zencaster.
No, because I want to come back on actually. So,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh boy, everyone, hello. I try to get as much people. Slip, do you want to hear something funny? And I think you're the only person I feel comfortable telling this to you. Slip, I'd have you on. This shit is so much work to get to this point. And with 2 episodes left, I'm just like staring at the finish line. Slip, I want to tell you something really funny. I think your episode is my lowest rated episode of all the episodes I've ever done. That has nothing to do with having you on. It's more so the work on my end and my limited time. I'm gonna check my numbers right now, but I think the episode with you is weirdly my lowest rated, like the least amount of listens. Everyone who joined me, thank you, and yeah, it's crazy. Happy New Year. Slip, are you gonna do like a continuation of your thing? Reviewing, I guess, there. Yeah, so Slip, if I go back and listen and look, you were on Are We There Yet? Yeah, our live numbers were definitely great. But dude, it's so weird. 12 episodes in season 8. Your episode with us was the lowest. Season 8 is a shit show all around, but your episode with us was the lowest, rated, just the least listened. I don't know if it's mic stuff or anything, but every random episodes we just have like no list, like the things drop down. But Slip, that has nothing to do with That has nothing to do with having you on. It's more so the work on my end. I was just telling Slip here, Colton, that for whatever reason, the episode we did with him, Are We There Yet?
Hmm.
It's like the least listeners of every episode. Something that's funny about podcasts, like, you release it, you get like, you usually average out whatever number, and over time, that number grows because people find your podcast and they listen. So usually
Hmm.
numbers get inflated over time. For whatever reason, the episode we did with Slip it just doesn't grow.
Huh.
It's a black hole on the episode list.
Well, I've told you my favorite episode on bootlegging. My absolute favorite episode was when I interviewed the local brewery here in Houston. When they even advertised on their own, like, hey, like we've had some people on the podcast and stuff like that. Least listened to episode out of all of my episodes,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, they advertised, they did all this, and I can't explain that was my funnest episode, my favorite episode. Like I love doing that one. I've listened to it myself multiple times because those guys are cool and stuff like that. And it's like drastically lower than everything else.
It's
And
funny.
I don't know why.
I don't like I know I would if the episode we did with Slip we just did like you did, we just talked about a topic not related to the show, but we did
Yeah, but we talked about an
we did
episode.
Dexter intense stuff. We did like an hour review of just going through everything, and then we did the episode. So whatever the case is, um yeah, the I remember the people joining us, the live one for that was fun. Oh boy, there was so much in this episode that I didn't have a chance. I'm trying to browse through the chat here.
I didn't realize how good your background was until right now, where it literally looks like Harrison's about to just blop you in the back of the head.
Oh yeah, look at that.
It's like sneaking up behind you, like, oh my god.
I totally did think, I didn't want to bring this up in the episode, but I did think that there's something was going to happen between Harrison and Kurt in that scene. Because we were talking about bats and fucking balls, and God, I just couldn't stop laughing when Harrison kept getting hit. Oh, I think I have all my tracks downloaded, so I think I'm good there. I forgot to do the ones there, but fine. Everyone.
The only thing
Mhm.
we forgot to bring up, and I don't know if we want to bring it up right now or not. I
Mhm.
don't know because it's not on the actual episode. Is do we think Molly's alive or not?
That's interesting you say that. I forgot who else I was talking to and brought that up. I think she is. Actually, you know what? I have inside knowledge, promotional stills from the next two episodes. She is. She's still alive.
Oh, okay.
I would doubt they would kill her off screen.
The only reason I was kind of curious is because last episode, like he was like secretly like watching her from a distance and stuff like that, and she wasn't in this episode, so I was like, well, why did they have her watching it? But then I was like, it could be other things. So
I do think like Dylan is saying in the chat, I do think that drone is gonna come back in some form or fashion.
it has to. They brought up drones 2 separate times in
Yeah.
the first 2 episodes. If it doesn't, I'll be extremely surprised.
That's fun. Yeah, like see, that's funny. Like I didn't even think about what do we have? 1, 2, 3. Do we have 6 actors in this episode? We have Angela, Logan, Kurt, Elric, Dexter, Harrison. I guess and Deb for a hot minute.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, this is definitely like a bottle / filler episode. I want to go again. I kept saying a step below filler. I
A
thought
step below or a step above? A step below or a step above filler?
if I say a step above, that's meaning like in my head that like it's like super filler. I'm saying it's like not
okay,
not
so you're
really
saying
filler.
you're saying it's as term as quality and advancing story, it's above a filler, but you're saying like if you were to say, I see what you're saying, because when you were saying it's a step below filler, I was like, well, wait.
If a filler is a 10, right, and 1 is like there's no filler, there's no fat on the episode, it's just straight to the point, I'm like a 5. That doesn't help at all.
Got it. Okay. No, that actually does, because when you first said this was a step below filler, and I was like, I don't think it was worse than I was in my head thinking you were saying it was worse than a filler, and I was like, it wasn't worse than a filler.
Um,
Got it. I now understand.
I completely thought if we would have done predictions and stuff, I really thought the drone was going to come out for this episode and Harrison was going to be looking for Dexter. Obviously, that's not true. Yeah.
Harrison will tape a gun. Slip. Harrison will tape a gun to the drone. I'll
I never watched
Walter White.
iZombie.
I was just in my episode of iZombie. I was thinking like Walter White. So in my head, I'm like, yeah, that'd be funny.
I just want to check out one thing here, and then let's call it a night. I'm trying to see how long these next 2 episodes are. They don't have it here. All right. Jacob, Jen, Slip, Robert, Dylan. Dylan was more in the chat today. Hey! Where the fuck is that guy? That piece of shit.
He came on for like 1 second and then he fucking bailed on us.
Yeah, he called me fat and then he left. What the fuck?
What a dick.
Balance of thought. We had someone from Puerto Rico here. I think that was Angeles. Caitlin, Jacob's wife. Nice, both of you guys to join us.
Mm-hmm.
And Leo was here. I'm glad my dude made it. And Troy was here for a bit, yes. All right, people. I am going to edit. If everyone... Wait. Olsen's twin dad is behind... Oh, man. I totally forgot to say that. I think Olsen twins is the overlord of the bodies thing with Kurt. I totally forgot to say that.
Oh, do you now? Oh, I think I'm gonna need to get a lunch.
I have to go back and get the audio, and I was like, "Hey, it's a bit," and you're like, "Okay."
What?
Jacob and Caitlin, love you guys too. Let's sign off so I can go edit and go to bed and watch some Sopranos. Thank you everyone for joining. Colton, thank you for getting off the plane.
Here.
And it looks like you're getting shot in the head by Elric.
I can't do it.
Yes, and everyone, Happy New Year. Next time we'll talk, it'll be January 2nd, and that'll be cool.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome. I'll be mistyping the name, the year for the next 2 months. Yeah, so that's fantastic.
Happy New Year, y'all. We will.
Happy New Year, everybody. Thank y'all.
Talk to you next week.